number you have called is not connected. Please check the number before calling again.
Det neste steget på reisa startet med en jakt etter en ny økolandsby. Eller rettere sagt, en økolandsby som det aldri ble noe av. Kontaktinformasjonen vi hadde fått var blitt utdatert, så siste sjanse var å reise dit hvor landsbyen en gang skulle ligge, I Yallingup, ca. 3 timer sør for Perth.
Neil from Somerville was saying that there was a bakery right on the edge of the old property where Rosneith Farm was supposed to be. Here we go. Rosneith Farm. Okay, fantastic. We'll shoot straight up there. Okay, see you soon. Bye-bye.
One of the things that puts people like you and me on searches for community, because in our daily lives we very seldom come across a group of people who are working towards something. You know, we tend to define community as just the physical entity or the social network.
Yeah.
But I think one of the things that really makes communities work is when they have to get together to do things.
I 1991 ble permakultureksperten Warwick Rowell spurt om han var interessert I å være med å opprette en økolandsby. Etter nøye samtaler med landeieren bestemte han og kona Gillian seg for å satse alt på prosjektet. I 1996 solgte de huset sitt for å finansiere sin del, og drømmekonseptet Rosneith Farm ble grunnlagt.
Well, I think in a lot of ways Rosneith Farm as it was designed was the first totally integrated design, where we looked at organic farming, alternative technologies, legal structures, village and proper village services.
355 mål var satt av til 71 grønne boliger, og etter mange års design og planlegging fikk de reguleringsplanen godkjent. Interessen var økende, og flere parter kjøpte seg inn I prosjektet. Framtiden så lys ut for Rosneith Farm, I hvert fall sånn Warwick Rowell så den. Men noen år senere fikk grunneieren kalde føtter og ville gjøre om byggeplanene til en mer tradisjonell bosetning. Dette var starten på et langt juridisk bikkjeslagsmål som satte en stopper for drømmen til familien Rowell.
The first hint we had of legal stuff was in December 2001, just when we were in the process of putting together a small tranche of sales, and he wouldn't sign the sales documents.
Okay.
And from then on, it was a downhill battle. Over the years, 32 legal actions, approximately, that we were involved in. We had 180 people directly affected by the dispute, and something like 400 outside the dispute, being affected substantially by it.
Noen av de totalt 26 innehaverne I prosjektet inngikk til slutt kompromisser med grunneieren. Men detaljene I de ulike avtalene unntatt offentligheten. Og selv om tingene hadde roet seg, var prosessen ennå ikke over for Warwick og Gillian, som sitter igjen med et bibliotek fullt av juridiske papirer. Det samme gjør sønnen Richard og familien. De var blant de første og de få som kom så langt at de rakk å bygge hus på eiendommen der Rosneith Farm skulle ligge.
It was a unique situation because we actually lived here, so we were sort of physically threatened. Whereas the other people who hadn't built yet, it was more of a, intellectual, more of a conceptual threat rather than actually the house that they'd built being threatened.
There were 5-6 years of legal battle. I mean, what does that process do to you?
Yeah, well, it's it changes who you are, really. I mean, it made put an awful lot of pressure on my relationship with the family. The legal dispute was pretty much all-encompassing, and so the process is the process is ongoing and it's moving on. So we just see what happens.
Is there still remnants of the original community in the area?
Oh, most definitely. We've been through a lot. Our relationships are very strong and very resilient because we have been through so much. And the pressure that was applied to us if we were going to survive as a group, we were forced to examine our relationships and to work very clearly on our communication and how we do things and how we do business. And when you see people in the harsh light of, for want of a better phrase, battle, you get an appreciation of who they are and how they behave and whether you want to be beside them again next time, sort of thing. But yeah, no, there are definitely remnants of the community, and there's a lot of the original ideas that were set up that we'll go back and revisit in time.
One of the key things we have to do is to go from a stock economy to a flow economy. And I suddenly realised that how we do our showers is a lovely example of a flow economy, because we capture the flow of water from the sky, put it into a tank, then have showers as long and as big as we like, and then the water goes onto the ground. So all we're doing is interrupting the flow of water from the roof to the ground. And it's a nice analogy for a flow economy as opposed to a stock economy of you must conserve water and not use as much, which assumes that it goes away and it's never useful again.
You know, 10, 15 years ago when Warwick and Jill started it, and when we first started becoming involved, grey water, dry composting toilets, solar panels were foreign language. Now it's very common. And you know, recycling and composting and mulch and water-wise gardens and all of those things are way more acceptable, and they're building houses with grey water pipes already plumbed in. You know, people are putting solar panels on. All that sort of stuff is now norm. Geez, we've been doing it forever, haven't we?
When you look at it now, the climate change, all those things, everybody's saying we need solar power, we need this, we need the other. We were doing it and proving. We were there for 10 years, 11 years, living off solar power. We're fine. Everybody can do it. But no.
In the latest issue of Sanctuary magazine, there's an article about a house that mentions an eco-village at Currumbin, up in Queensland. That eco-village was based on crystal waters, as Rosneath was. I'm sure, I've just written to these guys to see if they grabbed some of the ideas we had at Rosneith as well. They have just won a worldwide Sustainable Communities Award.
Fantastic. Isn't it fantastic?
And it's fantastic that that's happened. Much the same as Crystal Waters won a UN Habitat Award back in the 90s. And yet here's what we were doing at Rosneath, people saying, you know, those people are crazy, it would never work, blah, 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 blah. And that's, at one level, that is the huge damage that has been done by this. And that is, people can point a finger at Rosneath and say it didn't work, therefore no eco-village will work, and that's a real tragedy because in fact it's totally untrue. Nobody knows the full story of what happened at Rosneath. I know more about it than most, but I don't know the full story. But it was a human tragedy.